Welcome to the show, everybody. Joseph Robert, the fantasy football counselor. We've got an exciting episode. We're talking NFL 2020 mock draft predictions, and I've got the guy, the OG of football everything with me, who's got one of the best sites for everything football, from point spreads to mock drafts to everything you can think of. It's Walter from Walter Football. What's going on, Walter?
Not much. 8 days till the draft, so excited to do this 2020 NFL mock draft with you.
I'm excited. We need this right now more than anything. I mean, the draft is going to be so explosive because I think so many people are going to want to watch this and just get exposed to anything sports at this point.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we need a break from everything that's going on, and what better than the NFL draft for a whole weekend? I can't wait for it.
Yeah, me too. So guys, what we're doing for this show, very simple. We're going to run through the first round of the NFL mock draft. Walter has all the information on that. He knows which players could potentially be going off in what round. Okay, so I'm going to go through every team in the first round. Walter's going to give his prediction because he knows this more than me. And I've been following the draft a little bit, but he's the guy. He's got inside information. He's got feet on the street. He knows what's going on with every team, the interests, the meetings. He knows that stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to run through the first round. We're going to talk about the teams that are drafting in the first round, starting with 1 all the way to 32. And he's going to give us who he thinks the team is going to pick for that pick, okay? Team by team. And it's going to be super exciting. And we're going to try to focus on primarily the offensive players. So I'm going to ask some questions. We're going to talk a little bit about fantasy football in this as well, but primarily the NFL draft is what we want to focus on because this is very important for fantasy football. Where these players land is going to impact fantasy football players, right? Because if they land, the depth chart is going to get shifted and moved. This is a very important episode, and we're talking mock draft, and this is going to be super exciting. I'm excited about the draft. Walter, I can't contain the excitement.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be a blast, and you're right. I mean, this is kind of like the final piece of the puzzle for the fantasy football rankings that we'll have for 2020. So once we know wherever every rookie is going to go, we can finally get our final rankings going.
Okay, before we get into this, guys, make sure you are subscribed to the #1 fantasy football podcast and leave a comment below. Interact, guys. I try to get back to as many people as I can, and I'm going to force Walter. Walter, I don't care how busy you are doing this draft research. You got to get into the comment section, and you got to get in and comment back. Walter, you're going to have to comment back to some of these people.
All right, we'll do.
I got the phone ringing here. I got to hit mute here. All right, so let's get to this, guys. Very simple. We're going to go with the first pick here. First guy I want to talk about here is first team is Cincinnati. They are picking first overall. And I think it's pretty obvious here, unless there's some sort of trade or something going on. Who is Cincy taking?
It's Joe Burrow, quarterback LSU. I mean, it's locked in, I think, pretty much. I don't see them trading. They need a franchise quarterback to replace Andy Dalton. And Joe Burrow is by far the best quarterback in this class, considering Tua Tagovailoa's health.
Is this pretty much clear cut? Like from what your research, again, what research, first of all, sorry to go on a tangent. What research do you do? I mean, how do you get this inside information? You don't have to give all the secrets, but how do you what do you do to get this info?
Well, I mean, I think, everyone knows Joe Burrow is going to be the first pick, but like for other picks that we get correct, usually it's, I want to reference Charlie Campbell, our senior NFL draft analyst. Like he talks to everyone, it seems like, in the NFL. So he has a good idea of what most teams are going to do. So I get information from Charlie. I have some sources myself, not nearly as many as Charlie. So we collaborate during draft week and we talk about what our mock drafts are going to look like. And Charlie's had the most accurate mock draft on the internet 2 out of the last 3 years. So yeah, I mean, it's great information. And yeah, we're going to discuss. I look forward to talking with him. That's
why I brought you on, because I want Council Nation to get the best of the best. That's why you're here. So Joe Burrow, it seems pretty clear cut since is gunning for him, period.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they need a franchise quarterback, and if Tua Tagovailoa were healthy, you could probably have a good debate on which quarterback they should take. But it's Burrow. It has to be Burrow right now.
Okay, guys, start filing this in your brain. If Burrow's there, the value goes up with Boyd and AJ Green if he comes back healthy. And I heard today, I don't like to, rumors, this and that. Well, this is kind of solidified, but I don't know if you heard this, but Joe Mixon threatened to hold out. You probably heard about that.
Yeah, he's entering his contract year. That makes sense. But if he doesn't, if he eventually practices and reports for week 1, I think his stock increases as well with Joe Burrow because they're going to have more offensive success and he's going to have more goal line opportunities.
Right. So yeah, I'm excited to see Joe Burrow on Cincy. They definitely need a quarterback. And do you think, this is a little off topic, let's just focus, we're going to focus on the picks more or less, but do you think Burrow gets a start immediately based on the talent that you've seen with him and what you're hearing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're not going to sit him, unless he has just an abysmal preseason, which I don't see happening. I mean, he's going to be the starter right away.
Perfect. Okay. Pick number 2. Redskins are picking number 2. You've got here a defensive end or outside linebacker. Is Chase Young going to be the guy here for the Redskins, what they're looking for here?
Yeah, they love him. Charlie reported back in February before the combine that the Redskins were not going to trade down. And there's been speculation that the Redskins will move down, switching with the team that needs a quarterback. But they love Chase Young so much that they're not going to do it. He doesn't even really fit a need because they have a good edge rush right now. But he is the best player in this draft, and they need talent. The Redskins, that's their number one need, is that they need talent overall. And I don't think they can live with themselves if they pass up with Chase Young and he gets 15 sacks every single season.
Yeah, I mean, the talent is there. I was just reading here because I'm always looking at the news. Chase Young, the guy he wants to sack the most is Lamar Jackson. I don't know if you read that yet.
I didn't read that, but that's quite the challenge because he's tough to bring down.
That's what he wants, man. These guys are super competitive, and Joe Burrow was saying, "Hey, I don't like to lose. I don't lose," that type of thing. So very competitive athletes here in the first round. All right, pick number 3 here. I think it's the Lions going at 3, but you're saying that there may be a switcheroo here between them and the Chargers. What's going on? Are the Lions, you think they're going to pick at 3?
I would say it's not a lock that they trade down. Obviously, they could stay at 3 if they don't get a good deal, but the Chargers need a quarterback, and I think they might be scared that the Dolphins would take their guy if they prefer one of the 2 top quarterbacks remaining. There's also a possibility that a team that we don't know of that once a quarterback will move up, like Jacksonville. We all assume that they're going to tank for Trevor Lawrence in 2021, but they need a quarterback. They can trade up. The Patriots, obviously, they have nothing at quarterback. They can make a move. So I think the Chargers might want to take matters into their own hands and move up to number 3 for either Tua Tagovailoa or Justin Herbert. If they like one of them much more than the other, I think it's likely that they will trade up. If they feel equal on both, then they could just probably stay at 6 and just kind of be secure. But I think there's a decent chance that the Chargers move up.
Okay, so let's go with what you've got for your mock draft. So the Chargers take Tua, right? Is that your prediction here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still holding.
Chargers at 3 take Tua. That's your prediction.
Yeah, Chargers take 2 at 3. I'm still holding out for information that we might gather. So maybe they like Herbert more, but Tua is, I think, the better draft prospect. The only thing is his injury history. Right. But if the Chargers feel fine about that, then I don't see why they wouldn't trade up for Tua.
Okay, number 4, Giants. What's your prediction with the Giants?
So the Giants need a tackle. They have to protect Daniel Jones, and their general manager, Dave Gettleman, loves the hog mollies, as he calls them. So I think they have to go tackle here, and Tristan Wirfs, the tackle from Iowa, makes a ton of sense. He's so athletic, he's big, and he can really protect Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I need that. We need those holes for Saquon Barkley. We need any type of O-line help we possibly can get. So do you like this? It helps everybody, right? It helps Jones, Barkley, everybody.
Yeah, whichever tackle they like the most. Could be Jedrick Wills from Alabama, but like whichever tackle they like the most, I think they have to take it for.
Okay, number 5, who do you have? You have the Dolphins taking Justin
Herbert. Yeah, the last of the 3 top quarterbacks. I initially had Tua to them throughout the whole season because they were tied to Tua, but I've heard from a source that the Dolphins like Justin Herbert a little bit more than Tua. They like both. So I think the Dolphins will just stay put and take Herbert at 5. Although I could see them moving up one spot, kind of offering a 5th round pick to the Giants to go up to 4 just to make sure they get Herbert,
right.
just to make sure no one moves ahead of them. We saw it with the Bears in 2017 when they moved up from 3 to 2 to take Trubisky. That happens all the time. So I think the Dolphins take Herbert at 5 or 4.
And Justin, Tua, and Burrow, the 3 guys, you think they're going to get immediate plug and play, right?
Well, not Tua because he's injured. I don't think Tua is going to play in his rookie year. In fact, his agent Lee Steinberg, he tweeted out saying that he doesn't believe that rookie quarterbacks should play in their first year. And I mean, one of his top client is Patrick Mahomes, and that worked out for him. So I think Tua is going to take a redshirt year, and the Dolphins or the Chargers, whichever team gets him. If it's the Chargers, they're going to start Tyrod Taylor. If it's the Dolphins, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Okay, let's rip through this. Number 6, we said who said Lions at 6. Who are they taking?
So if they trade down, or they stay at 3 and take the same guy, which is why it makes sense for them to move down. I have them taking Isaiah Simmons, the linebacker from Clemson. He's so athletic, and he could really be a great chess piece for them on defensively. And he's the team captain, which means a lot to them.
They need a running back too. I'm not sold on Kerryon Johnson, but I mean, if they need the linebacker more, that's probably more of an important need, right?
Yeah, and they, if they move down, they're going to have 2 second-round picks. Right now, they have the second-round pick. It's number 35 right now, and they could get Jonathan Taylor there, or J.K. Dobbins, or Cam Akers. So I think they take the running back in the second round.
Okay, moving on, number 7, Carolina. I thought they needed a receiver. They addressed that in free agency, acquiring Robbie Anderson. So that's probably out. I think DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson could hold the fort down. Who are the Carolina Panthers taking at 7?
Derek Brown, defensive tackle from Auburn. Some people think he's the second best prospect in this class, and I don't blame them for thinking so. They really need help stopping the run. They had the worst run defense in the NFL last year, and he's a great player. So I think he makes so much sense for them at 7.
Okay, Arizona 8. I see you have them taking a cornerback. You're going to tell us who that is in a second, but I heard there was a rumor that they may be, which is crazy, but they may be looking at an ace wide receiver. Is that insane, or do you see them taking this cornerback? Who do you have them taking?
I have a feeling that's smoke because, granted, they have 4 receiver sets. They run 4 receiver sets a lot. So they have Hopkins, Kirk, and Fitzgerald right now. So they need a 4th, but they drafted so many players at receiver last year. Like they have Andy Isabella, they have Keyshawn Johnson, they have some other guys there that they can start at receiver. So I think it would be a big mistake to take a receiver at 8. If they go offense, I think it's tackle. But they re-signed their 2 tackles in free agency. So I have them going Jeff Okudah, the cornerback from Ohio State, who's just an incredible prospect.
Perfect. Let's keep moving. You got some more defensive players. We'll rip through them. Number 9, Jacksonville. You got him taking a defensive tackle?
Yeah, Javon Kinlaw. They lost Calais Campbell. They traded him to Baltimore, so there's a huge hole in the defensive line. I think Jacksonville's kind of like the Redskins. Like they just need talent. Like they really have nothing left. So I think they just take the best player.
I think they need a wide receiver. I'm not really sold on their current wide receivers. I mean, well, we'll have to see, but yeah,
I think they need everything.
They need everything. That's the bottom line. All right, Browns. Who do you have the Browns taking at number 10?
So Jedrick Wills right now, the tackle from Alabama, I think he fits their blocking scheme perfectly. But I heard a rumor, I think it was from Peter King, who said that they like Ezra Cleveland, the tackle from Boise State, who they could take in the second round. So if they pass on Wills, it might be another position. And there were some Odell Beckham Jr. rumors flying around today that they might trade him to Minnesota. So if that happens, it would be a receiver here.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I think it could be a good home for Odell. If he busts again, then he's totally out of excuses because, I mean, all these quarterbacks thrown to him, he can't do anything. We have another guy like Hopkins who's had a bunch of quarterbacks thrown to him, and he's never had an excuse. He's always performed. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens there with the Browns and the Vikings. Number 11, Jets. Who do they take?
Yeah, Charlie reported yesterday that the Jets are leaning toward a tackle here, and they could go receiver. Obviously, they have defensive needs, but they have to protect Sam Darnold. And whenever Darnold's been under pressure last year, when they had injuries on the offensive line, he was awful. So they need to make sure he's protected. So I have been taking Mekhi Becton, the tackle from Louisville.
Nice, good call. All right, this is where it gets interesting, fantasy football fans. The Raiders, you have them taking CeeDee Lamb, who I love. I think he's one of the best receivers out of this draft. I think, just a wiry guy, come down with the ball. I like him. I think he's going to be explosive there. Do you really feel confident about this? Raiders taking CD?
Yeah, if he's there, that's the question. He might go 9, he might go 10 if the Browns trade Odell. He might go 11 if all the tackles are gone. But if he's available at 12, I think it's going to be CeeDee Lamb.
Okay, so so let's just say the Browns take him at 10. Then you think Raiders definitely go Judy if he's available, or vice versa?
Yeah, I think they go receiver. After what happened with Antonio Brown last year, they had really Derek Carr had no one to throw to besides Darren Waller, a tight end. So they really need a receiver, and there are 2 great ones in this class.
Yeah, I read a report yesterday, I think. Yeah, Raiders they're gunning for receivers. So if you want a receiver, Browns, Jacksonville, Arizona, whoever you guys are before the Raiders, you better snipe your receiver because you're not going to get a top 4 guy. All right, where are we number 13, San Fran. You have Jerry Jeudy going there?
Yeah, I heard that they like Jeudy a lot, so it makes a lot of sense for them. They lost Emmanuel Sanders in free agency, so they have to replace him. They need another receiver to go with Deebo Samuel. So, yeah, Jeudy makes a ton of sense for them.
Number 14, who do you have? Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, the last of the first round, or not first round, but the top 4 tackles, Andrew Thomas from Georgia. So they got Tom Brady. They need to protect him. He's a 43-year-old quarterback, and they have a big hole at right tackle, so they could take Thomas. They also need a running back, but they could take one in the second round.
Right. They definitely have to get somebody to complement Ronald Jones or take the job from Ronald Jones, vice versa. I don't think Ronald Jones has got what it takes. All right, 15. I'm really excited about this pick. I mean, Ruggs, I think he's kind of raw for me. I don't know how he's going to do. I don't know if he's over. Do you think he's overvalued here in Denver? I think it's a good pick because he's going to, I think he's going to be a good compliment to Courtland Sutton here. But Ruggs, do you think he's that good, or do you find him kind of raw? Like, what do you think? Overrated or the real deal?
Yeah, I think he's a little overrated. He ran a great 40 at the combine, but we've seen history of these guys running 4.2Xs at the combine, and they really don't translate to the NFL. And I mean, he has a ton of upside for sure. So I wouldn't say he's going to be a complete bust, but I would definitely prefer Judy and Lamb in some order before Ruggs. I called him like a kind of a fancy Dante Stallworth, who was like a decent receiver, but not great, not worth the 15th pick in the draft. But the Broncos need a second receiver.
Yeah, don't get all smoke and mirrors, everybody, because I remember years ago, I think it was like 2015, or I can't remember what year it was, but Keith Marshall, running back, and he ended up on the Redskins, ran a 4.29. I was all excited, this Keith guy, and then he did nothing. He never even played, I don't even think. And then we had the Ross situation at wide receiver. He's done nothing. So, yeah, I'm not really excited, but maybe Ruggs could prove us wrong. Who knows? Moving on here, we've got some defensive players, so we'll rip through them quickly. Fantasy fans, relax. Atlanta, who are they taking at 16?
CJ Henderson, cornerback from Florida. They traded Desmond Trufant, so they need a number 1 corner, and there's a lot of interest in Henderson. Charlie thinks Charlie heard from some teams they believe Henderson's going to go in the top 10.
Cool. Okay, Dallas 17.
Yeah, Kayvon Chason, defensive end from LSU. They lost Robert Quinn in free agency, so they're kind of replacing an edge rusher, which they need to do.
Okay, Raiders. They think they got 2 picks here. They're coming back at 19. Are they going to you got them getting a linebacker, right?
Well, the Dolphins at 18. I have them taking Austin Jackson, tackle from USC. They have the worst offensive line in the NFL, so they need to protect their quarterback. And yeah, the Raiders, Kenneth Murray at 19. The Raiders made some linebacker upgrades, but they still need one more linebacker. And Murray has the high football IQ, and he just makes a lot of sense for the Raiders, what they're looking for.
I was testing if you were paying attention, guys. Paying attention. I jumped over here the Dolphins right to the Raiders. That's how much I don't care about the Dolphins. I'm just joking. I'm just joking, guys. All right, Raiders. Yeah, again, hearing that rumor though that they may load up on wide receivers here. Do you think they'd go? There's no chance they'd go 2 wide receivers, would they?
Depends how much they like Justin Jefferson or maybe Denzel Mims. But I think it's more likely they go linebacker or corner at 19.
Okay, 20. I'm not going to skip over these guys. Who do the Jags take in here?
Patrick Queen, linebacker from LSU, yet another star player they're replacing. They lost some of their linebackers, to not even free agency or cutting them, just basically retirement. So they need to replace the linebackers they had. So Patrick Queen to 20.
Okay, I really like this one at 21. If he falls, Justin Jefferson for the Eagles, they definitely need a wide receiver. If you're thinking fantasy, I mean, Carson Wentz needs a receiver, period. I love this one. Makes sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't count on Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson. Like, they're still on the roster technically, but they can't stay healthy. You can't really count on them. So the Eagles need a number 1 receiver, and Justin Jefferson I think fits in well with them because he can play in the slot, and you can have Jeffrey and Jackson on the outside if they manage to stay healthy.
Okay, 22. We got who the Vikings taking?
Josh Jones, tackle from Houston. So Riley Reif is their left tackle right now, but he's owed $10 million, and the Vikings don't have any cap space because of the Kirk Cousins situation. So I think they take Josh Jones or another tackle, and then they cut Riley Reif.
Nice. And then 23 got the Pats taking a safety.
Yeah, it's Avery McKinney, safety from Alabama. He's so versatile. He fits what Belichick wants. But I think it's more likely the Patriots trade down because they don't have a second-round pick, and they need a quarterback. So if they can't move up for Tua or Herbert, I think they move down for maybe Jake Fromm, Jacob Eason, something like that.
Okay, Saints at 24. Who are they taking?
Ross Blacklock, defensive tackle from TCU. They just need another defensive tackle to help stop the run and get pressure on the quarterback. So kind of strengthen their defense. So I think it's either a defensive tackle or corner.
Vikings at 25.
Yetter Gross Matos, defensive end from Penn State. So they lost Everson Griffin to free agency, so they need another edge rusher.
Okay, this is interesting, and I'd hate to see this happen to DeAndre Swift, but 26, you've got the Dolphins taking DeAndre Swift, stud running back.
Right. I can see why you hate this right now, because the Dolphins are a mess. You even wanted to skip over their pick, and rightfully so, just because they're so bad. But you know what? I think in a couple of years this is going to look great, because they have so many draft picks. They can retool their offensive line. If their quarterback turns out to be a good player, suddenly their offense is going to look pretty good, and Swift is going to be a great fantasy player. So I think you just have to be patient with this one.
Yeah, guys, go back and check out the video on rookie running backs. He is probably the most complete back in the draft. Am I correct, Walter? He runs, he catches, does everything.
Yeah, I think he's the number one back. Jonathan Taylor's close, but he's number one.
Right. I think he can catch more. So 27.
Right now, I have Jeremy Chin on the site, safety from Southern Illinois. I'm thinking about changing it to Josh Uche, edge rusher from Michigan. But Seattle is, I think they're except for the Patriots, I think they're most likely to trade down. They always trade down. They don't have that many picks in the first few rounds. So it just seems like Seattle always takes a guy who's like a second or third round prospect, but they trade down. What they really do is look at how guys perform in the Senior Bowl. So Uche makes a lot of sense.
So that's Seahawks 28. Who are the Ravens taking?
So I had Jonathan Taylor here for a while, but I'm hearing that the Ravens will go linebacker, or probably will go linebacker. Patrick Queen makes a lot of sense if he's available, or Kenneth Murray. They're not, so I have them taking Zach Bond from Wisconsin. He can play anywhere on their defense, so he makes a lot of sense for them.
They need to address the wide receiver. There's all this talk. There's that rumor with Antonio Brown, and that got kind of pushed away. Don't they need a wide receiver urgently?
Yeah, but if the top four guys are gone, I think they just wait to the second round. They have 55 and 60, so they have 2 second-round picks. So they can even double up on receivers in the second round and get like 2 pretty decent ones.
Right, maybe one of them hits. All right, 29, the Titans. What are they doing?
AJ Epineza, edge rusher from Iowa. They had Cameron Wake there last year, and he's not there anymore. So they need to improve their edge rush. And Mike Vrabel is always looking for to help out the edge rush. So I like that pick.
30 Packers.
Denzel Mims, receiver from Baylor, just an explosive player, a downfield threat for Aaron Rodgers, who was really nothing to work with outside of Devontae Adams and maybe Alan Lazard if you like him, but they need number 2 receiver. So Mims would help Rodgers a lot.
Yeah, MVS didn't do anything. Nobody did anything. So, yeah, they need somebody to step it up. 2 more here. We've got the 49ers. What are they doing?
Cesar Ruiz, who can play center or guard. He's from Michigan. The Niners need to improve the interior of their line. Their center right now may not be able to play next year because of an injury, so they kind of hedge their bets there and even get an upgrade in the interior of the line.
All right, and 32, the Chiefs.
Damon Arnett, cornerback from Ohio State. Like, if Arnett didn't have any off the field problems, he'd be probably a top 20 pick. But he has off the field issues. But Andy Reid has shown that he's willing to take a chance on these guys who have problems, like Marcus Peters, that pick from a few years ago. This kind of reminds me of that. They really need a corner, and Arnett is just very talented.
Wow, we just crushed 32 teams and under. I don't even know. I don't even have the timer here. Probably like 30, just under 30 minutes. That's insane.
Yeah, less than 30. Yeah.
Is there any surprises here? Any, like, I know I'm throwing you a curveball here. Is there anything that's going to happen in the draft? I know you kind of talked about some trades happening, but is there anything that's going to make us go, wow, I can't believe that team did that? Do we anticipate anything happening that's going to kind of like say, really, wow, like somebody's going to try to take that first overall pick? Anything like that at all that you're hearing? Rumors?
I don't think nothing crazy is going to happen with the first 2 picks. I think the real draft starts at 3. We could see an unexpected team move up for a quarterback. That wouldn't shock me at all. Like if the Patriots, if they traded twice, if the Patriots before the draft moved from like 23 to, let's just say 13, 14, something like that. I think they're a team to look out for to move up to number 3. You're going to see a player you don't expect in the first round. That always happens. And you're going to see a player drop who, like last year, Jawan Taylor, who was a tackle from Florida. Everyone had him projected from between 7 and 10. He didn't even go in the first round. And then we found out later it's because of an injury that teams didn't disclose. So there's going to be a player who drops out of like the top 15 and doesn't go in the first round because of an injury.
That's interesting. So, are you set? Because the Redskins, are they sold on Haskins? They need a quarterback. I mean, don't you think? Or, I don't know, man. I'm not sold on their quarterbacks.
Well, Daniel Snyder loves Haskins. I mean, just because he grew up in the area and he thinks he can sell tickets. And Haskins, he looked terrible at times last year, but every single game he looked better and better. He wasn't great at any point, but at the end of the year, I thought he was like half decent. So I think they're going to give him another chance. They're going to take Chase Young, number 2. So they're going to give Haskins one more year. And if he doesn't pan out, there are some great quarterbacks in 2021. The Trevor Lawrence, I mentioned him. He's better than any quarterback in this class. You also have Justin Fields, Jamie Newman, maybe another guy steps up. So you're going to have like 3 legitimate first-round quarterbacks in 2021.
Yeah, and the Redskins could suck again and get another first or second round pick. So they might do that on purpose, right? So yeah, I appreciate, man. I know you're busy with the draft, so we're not going to keep you long. And man, I'm excited that you came on. So guys, make sure you comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys follow Walter Football. How do they find you? I know it's pretty obvious. WalterFootball.com, correct?
Yeah, WalterFootball.com. We have tons of content there. Not just NFL draft. We have fantasy rankings and picks against the spread, and we grade every free agency signing. Or you can follow me at Walter Football on Twitter. Yeah,
man, you're crushing it. And you've been at this, what, like 20 years, is it?
Yeah, 20 and a half years now. Yeah, we started in 99, and yeah, we've been around forever.
Or were you like 5 years old when you started?
I was 17, so you can probably guess how old I am.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you don't look that old, man. And you're like, you've been at this a long time. So yeah, I appreciate you coming on, guys. There it is, the NFL Mock Draft 2020. Going to give you guys some good insight here. I mean, that's almost as close as it gets to anyone making a prediction on this. And of course, guys, there's going to be variances. There are going to be some shocking picks, I'm sure. Someone, instead of a defense, may take a wide receiver, a running back. But one more thing here, running backs, you honestly see what, 2 running backs going in the first round, right?
So in this mock draft, we only had 1 because I moved Taylor out of 28. Right. So I moved Taylor to 35 to Detroit, which I like that fit a lot. So I think you could see a bunch of running backs going round 2.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Detroit gets him in the second, that's a steal, isn't it? Like, he's just super talented, that guy.
Yeah, he could go in the top 25 and they're like with no issues. Like, he can go as high as 18 and I wouldn't have a problem with it. The problem is that teams don't need running backs, really. I mean, like, look at the first round. Like, how many teams in the 16 through 32 need running backs? Like, not that many. So it's kind of tough to slot him somewhere.
Right. All right. Thank you, Walter, for being on, guys. Smash a thumbs up, comment, interact below. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks, Walter, for being on.
All right. Thanks for having me.
I'm excited, guys. NFL Draft 2020. It's coming. Hang on to your seats. And we'll see you guys in the next video.